A herniated disc is a gift because it's now going to give you the opportunity to take care of the rest of your body. It's a signal that something is off. If I'm on the racetrack and I feel like my car is pulling this direction, I can't just turn the wheel and say that's going to be good, I'll just drive like this. I should probably solve the alignment issue before I wreck off the track.
Hey guys, today our guest is Brian Bradley, who is back onto the show on popular demand from subscribers. As you guys already know, Brian is the Vice President of Egoscue, which is a world-renowned therapy protocol and is known to miraculously heal our pains. I'm very happy to invite Brian Bradley once again to the show. Thanks, Brian, for coming to the show again.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, before we go into the interview, can you share where can people connect with you?
Yeah, there's listen, I get a lot of, I'll just show you some Instagram stuff here. And this is my Instagram. If you want to have people take a look at that, it's under the Brian Bradley. And, you know, or on Facebook under the same thing, or up here, you can see the word Egoscue, Egoscue. We also have an Instagram and Facebook under that. And we have a lot of very encouraging information there also. And my, of course, you know, people can email me, which, you know, you can put in the show notes, stuff like that. It's because I got a lot of questions last time about what can we do for them. And I think that we have something in place now, which we'll talk about later, that I think is going to be better for them than meeting over Zoom and doing all that stuff. And I can do either one. We can do the pictures or we can do the Zoom just like this over Skype or whatever, to give us an ability to take a look and then build something that is personalized for them with a progression model that says you were here, now you're here. How much more compelling is your life?
Thank you, Brian. Brian, can you talk about this subscription model that Egoscue launched? Like even people from India and all over the world can interact with you.
Absolutely. The subscription model is based on our therapy protocol in the sense that when a person comes in, we compare them to this blueprint of how the human body should work. This, I didn't make this up. This is something that is well known in the rehab world. And then what we do is we give you an opportunity to get your body as close to that as possible. How you do that is in our subscription model. Every month we walk you through 3 things. Number 1, you're going to send us pictures or photographs through digital phones or whatever you want to do of just the way you stand. So for example, this is a person who sent me a picture and said, "Can you guys help me?" And let's say it's this picture. And then you can see 3 months later, that's what the picture looked like. So these are the type of results that you're going to get off of sending us those pictures, because we send you back exercises that are specific for you. At the same time, we also have a video on demand library where when you do get out of pain, you're going, "Hey, I'd like to try something new." You pull one off the shelf and do that in our video shelf. And then we also have some live classes. So it's been a very successful model that I use with people from probably 150 countries right now.
Thank you so much, Brian. Brian, in this interview, I chose the questions 100% from our subscribers. So it's different from the previous interviews. So I think you will like it.
Yep. Go ahead. Let's go.
So the first question from the subscribers is, how to know that we have a bad posture?
Well, this is an easy one. When you take a look in the mirror, if you strip down and you're in your bedroom getting ready to go to bed and you look in the mirror, if your shoulders are not level, if your hand is supposed to show you the index and thumb facing your way, but if it's rolled over like this on one versus the other or both, that tells you that your shoulders are rounded like that. From the side view, I'll give you an example. From the side view, Well, that's an easy one. If you look like that, you're probably out of alignment, right? But that guy's in severe pain. But if you look like this, somebody may look at this guy and say, he actually looks pretty good. But when you see his after photograph, then you can really see that his body was out of alignment. So we compare you to this blueprint. The body should be the ankle, the knee, the hip, the shoulder, and the ear perfectly straight up and down without posing for it, without trying to stand up straight. And then you send us that picture. We take a look. We draw some lines in there. We show you what's wrong, and we get going. So the number one thing here's the thing you could do also. Barefoot, no shoes, stand up, close your eyes, and your listeners could do this right now. They could stand up and close their eyes and then ask this question: where's my body weight left to right? Where's my body weight front to back? If the body weight is not even, you can assume that somewhere up the chain, something is off. And even if you don't see it, I'll be able to see it.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is, what's the best and simple exercise to do every day at home to make us fit and active?
I would tell you that this exercise, and this is just a raw drawing, but this is the static back. That exercise alone at night could be a flat out game changer for people who have chronic pain symptoms, or like I did it last night for about 90 minutes while I was watching some TV or listening to some TV. Well, why? Because I sit all day in this chair and then I'm going to sit on the couch and watch TV and do this? No, I'd rather take my body out of this chair and lay down on my back to allow this posture to open up this direction. So, for example, why do I do that? I don't have pain. Well, on Saturday, we're going to Willow Springs Raceway. So we're going to be racing cars on a racetrack, 70 miles an hour, 150 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, whatever the speed is to do this. That takes a toll on your body. It takes a toll on the car, but it takes a toll on your body too. So my goal is to get the body as functional as possible to allow the G-forces from that racing to not bother my body. So I come back and good. And then I fly the next day somewhere to go snowmobiling in the snow. So, you know, you've got to, as you get older, take care of yourself. And that simple exercise could be the one that you just say, I'm at least going to try that.
Thank you so much, Brian. That's so interesting. Next question is, why realigning our hips will change our life?
Great call. There's a muscle, two muscles basically, that are, if you're in your studio and all the power goes out, or I'm in my house and all my power goes out, I go out to the box and I check the circuit breaker. The circuit breaker is the power source where power comes to the house. The circuit breaker lets it enter the house the correct way. If that circuit breaker is off, then the rest of the house is off. Having said that, this muscle right here that comes all the way up into here, that's the circuit breaker muscle of the body. So you can see that it crosses the hip joint. You can see that it attaches to the spine. You can see that it attaches to the leg. And if it's off, then the rest of the power to the body is off. And I'm not going to say it's just that muscle, but I'm telling you, that muscle is the one that if it's off, the rest of the system is off. And the exercise, real quick, sorry, but the exercises are designed to balance out your pelvis and turn that back on. That's what we would design for you in the subscription.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is, what's the best way to become tall after 18?
Okay, so I had this question come to me from somebody from another country, and it may have been yours who asked me this question. I'm 18 years old. Can I go from 5'6" to 6'1"? At 18, unless you have a growth spurt like Tony Robbins did, you're not going to grow 5 or 6 or 7 inches. But you will grow like this guy. He got an inch taller because he's not collapsed, because he became a hip-driven athlete once again. And for your ladies that are watching, this is profound also. Look how much better this young lady looks in 3 months just of doing posture exercises. Look how much better she looks from an athlete perspective. She looks like she's lost weight. Her posture is better. And from the side view, it's even better. That's a 3-month change. So I hate to say this, but if you're trying to biohack or if you're trying to be healthy and you're deviating from this design, you've got to start thinking this way. Put Egoscue at the center of everything you do, and then everything on the outside gets easier. Chiropractor, working out, massage therapy, acupuncture, CrossFit, yoga, dieting, intermittent fasting, all that gets easier because your structure is now stabilized. Let's go back to the race car. If I'm driving a Ferrari and it's an amazing vehicle, the frame is slightly bent, the car cannot function correctly. It can't function correctly if the frame is bent. So we've got to get to the point where we can unbend your frame with the work that you do at home, which is the same thing you do when you brush your teeth. Your teeth are clean and healthy because you do your part. Now let's brush the rest of the body.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next
You're
question
welcome.
is, what is the biggest mistake people do while running?
Great question. Great question. Nothing. Except they lace up their shoes to go for the run and they don't look like this. If their body looks like this, and this is a guy who's a Kona triathlete, so he's done Ironman in Kona, so he runs marathons. But if he looks like this, he has no hips, his back is really rounded like that, and his head's up here like this, then every run he does is compromised. But when he looks like the other picture, which is him 12 minutes after doing his menu of exercises, that's the same guy, the same day. And you can see the tattoo on his shoulder. So thank God he had a tattoo because it doesn't even look like the same guy. So I don't care if you're running barefoot. I don't care if you're running in Nike, Zero shoes, whatever. What you're doing is you're compromising your structure, and that compromises your run. So remember, when I took you back to this picture, always keep this in mind. Running is on here somewhere. Egoscue first, then you run, so that your running eventually is not the problem.
Thank you, Brian. Next question is, what's the best way to get rid of headache?
Change your upper back position, because we believe headaches come from here to here is the adaptation or the the body's trying to round itself or rotate in one direction. If I turn my body this way, but you're over here, my head has to go here and here. That's going to lead to a headache. But if we treat what's up here, we never unwound this to get it back to the right place, which really comes from the hips because the spine sits on the hips. For example, bulletproof coffee. That coffee cup cannot sit up straight unless my table is stable. That table is an analogy for your pelvic girdle and your hips. Does that make sense?
Yes, Brian, totally. Thank you. Next question is, can Egoscue help me with sciatic pain?
100%. It's my number one symptom to come in the door is sciatic pain. Because we don't treat the pain, we go after the cause, which is why the nerve is impinged by a disc, causing the nerve to be creating the sciatic pain.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is, can we recover from ACL injury or tear without surgery?
Great question. Two answers. Yes and no. Yes, if you want to spend a boatload of time doing the work, strengthening the muscles and aligning the joints around it, you might get away with it. But if you said, hey, Brian, I'm 45 years old and I want to snowboard, I want to ski, I want to play cricket, I want to play rugby, I want to lift my kid, I want to run, I want to swim, I would say you're probably going to need your ACL. But if you're 50, 60, 70 and you just said, no, I walk around my house and I cook dinner and then I go for a walk with my wife and then I walk the dog and I come back, you might be able to get away with it. But if it's me and the lifestyle that I lead, I tore my ACL 2 times doing something stupid like this. So this is what I used to do. And eventually, when you do that, you're going to run into a tree, which is what I did. I hit a tree at about 60 miles an hour, and then I started doing cartwheels down a mountain. So I tore my ACL. Yes, I understand that. I felt that I needed 20 years ago, I'm going to be way too active, and I'm probably too lazy to spend all my time doing what I had to do to make it without the ACL. So I chose to have the ACL done. Now, I will tell you, there's a company in the United States, which I'm sure there's people around the world, that are now doing stem cells into the ACL, and it's healing the ACL. So I have that company out of Colorado, and they do some work out of the Cayman Islands. They do it out of the US. I don't know if they have international, but I'm sure they probably could hook up with people international to do that kind of stuff.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is, how to deal with frozen shoulders?
So the shoulder is comprised of 3 bones. The humerus bone, that's one long bone. The collarbone, that's one shorter bone. And then especially back here, the shoulder blade. All 3 of those have to be congruent, but especially the humerus and the shoulder blade have to have a congruent relationship. So the shoulder blade is here. Here's the hip joint. It's much deeper. Here's the leg going in like a car pulling in the garage. Here's the much more shallow. It's not deep. It's shallow. This is the shoulder blade. And here's the humerus coming up and fitting in here like this. So the hip joint would be like this, and this would be like this. When this bone moves, not only does the arm come up, if you can see this little overhang, it would roll, it would come up like this and hit right into there. Okay? We have to get this out of the way. So whenever your arm moves, your shoulder blade needs to do this and get out of the way. And this needs to glide downward. Rotate and glide down. All of that requires one thing. the shoulders in the right position, but the shoulders cannot go in the right position by you saying, Brian said I have to walk around India like this. That's not what I want. That's weird. What I want you to do is allow it to happen organically from the hip, telling the spine, telling the shoulder blade, telling the arm where to sit.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is how to deal with avascular necrosis?
Got it. Let's go back to that frozen shoulder question one more time.
Sure, Brian.
I'm going to take you back to this picture. Look at his shoulder change and how much better it looks because his hips finally got out of butt under and they went to butt out. So he had an arch in his lower back. So avascular necrosis is a blood flow issue. The bone is dying. I'll give you two options. Talk to somebody that does stem cells and see if they can help you. B, the second option, do as much Egoscue as possible. And again, like I told you, my team and I will be able to write personalized menus for you rather than just saying, let's try something. Like this exercise may not really help avascular necrosis. It'll make you a little bit better, but it may not get you where you want to go. That's why you need to build a regimen that does it. Avascular necrosis is very serious because you're looking at a hip replacement or whatever coming if you don't get that under control.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you so much. Next question is, like when I uploaded the back pain video, more than 80% of comments were related to disc bulge issues. Like, why did such an issue become so normal? Like everyone is complaining about the disc bulge and how to treat it.
Everybody who contacted me basically from India after our last show was complaining of herniated discs or spinal stenosis or something like that too. And they sent me their MRIs, they sent me all their stuff. And thank you to them for sending it to me and giving me the chance to look at it. But it's just, that's just telling you your body's off. A herniated disc is a gift because it's now going to give you the opportunity to take care of the rest of your body. It's a signal that something is off. If I'm on the racetrack and I feel like my car is pulling this direction, I can't just turn the wheel and say, that's going to be good, I'll just drive like this. I should probably solve the alignment issue before I wreck off the track. Same thing with running. My knee's bothering me running. Stop. Figure out why the knee is hurting you and then go back to running. You don't have a knee problem, you have a knee symptom. You don't have a disc problem, you have a disc symptom. That's a very important distinction.
Yes, Brian. Brian, like, what can one do to start dealing with the disc bulge?
Egoscue.
Yes, that's perfect.
Yeah, you got to do your exercises every day. And that's, I can't stress enough that everybody listening to this, I implore you, make sure you get a hold of me because I created this subscription model at a much lower price within our system for people from other countries who don't want to work over Zoom because either A, they don't have the technology, or B, they don't want to pay that much. I get it. I totally get it. We're in the middle of COVID-19. Nobody knows what's going to happen totally down the world. So give us the opportunity to change your upper body because even during COVID-19, your breathing is very important. And when your body's off and you're rounded like this, you're breathing incorrectly. Let's get you to breathe much better.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is, what's the best way to deal with everyday body and joint pains? Which is the answer? Egoscue.
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, why are you waking up with with joint pain. Look, I'm in my mid 50s. I don't wake up with joint pain. My sleep time. Okay, let's talk sleep for a second. To get rid of some of your joint pain, you might be able to hack the way you sleep. So let's treat sleeping as a sport. Cricket, sleeping. They're both sports. You would not play cricket unless you trained for it. Let's train for sleeping to get our body into a better position so when we lay down, we truly heal at night.
That's awesome, Brian. Yes. Next question is how to deal with pinching nerve problem.
So whether that's up here or whether that's in the low back, it all comes down to the way the spine is supposed to look. So you have a natural curve. Let me pull this up for you. You have a natural curve that the spine is supposed to have. So I'm going to show you a funny picture, but let's look at it. Let's look at it from a very serious standpoint. My dog is the black dog. I found another French bulldog, a white dog, but look at their posture, look at their spinal curve, look at their hips, and look at the difference between the two. Look at that spinal curve on the black dog, how his head is perfectly positioned, and the white dog could easily have nerve pain because their head is so far forward because their hips are so tucked under. They have no butt. They have no hips. And I know we're not dogs, I get it, but I found this to be profound that even in the dog world, the posture of the spine creates the health of the dog. So get the curve back to your spine by doing the exercises that we give you daily. I can't stress enough that when you get these exercises that are specifically set up for you, it is a flat out game changer.
Yes, Brian. Thank you so much. Brian, next question is can Egoscue help me with occipital neuralgia?
It's a scary word. It's a scary, 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 scary word. It's a diagnosis that people say, I've been diagnosed with occipital neuralgia. Why? Why do you have that diagnosis? Is anyone looking at your posture to see if your head position and your cervical spine position has anything to do with it? So I'll give you an example. Here's a person coming to me and saying, I don't have occipital neuralgia, but I have so much brain pressure that I'm ready to kill myself. So when you look at this white fluid, there's white fluid right here. There's white fluid on the brain where that red arrow is. And then over here, it's clean. That's the same brain. When the person decided to get their neck into a better position, which allowed a different flow of the cerebral spinal fluid. So when you're dealing with occipital neuralgia, if I'm with you at the doctor, I would say, thank you for the diagnosis. Now what? Well, we got to be very careful. We got to medicate. We might have to do this. Doc, stop for 1 second. If this were you, what would you do? Well, I'd probably do everything. Yeah, and I probably would get my posture looked at to get it fixed. Well, then why didn't you tell me to do that? So I'm telling you guys, change your posture, change your life. And it's got to come from the hips. Remember, turn the circuit breaker on.
Thank you, Brian. Because like many people ask about the occipital neuralgia, so that's why I have included this question. So thank you
Well,
for answering.
I wonder why is it a huge diagnosis in India?
Brian, like whenever I post something related to Egoscue, like many people are asking about this. I think that many people are diagnosed with such kind of thing.
I'm going to read you something. Occipital neuralgia is a painful condition affecting the posterior head in the distributions of the greater occipital nerve, the lesser occipital nerve, third occipital nerve, or a combination of the three. That's for real. But does it tell you why you have it? It doesn't. Let's see. It is paramount that physicians understand the differential diagnosis for this condition and specific diagnostic. There are multiple treatment modalities, several of which have been well established. Okay, so it doesn't sound like it's a big deal in the medical world in the sense that, oh, we know how to treat it. But one of the best ways to treat it, in my opinion, is to help the doctor out. Help your good doctor out by you doing your part and getting your body back to here. It's like you brushing and flossing your teeth to help your dentist. You've got to do your part. Do not be afraid of the diagnosis. Occipital neuralgia. It sounds like a scary movie. It is scary if your body's in this position, but it's not going to be scary when your body's in that position.
Thank you so much, Brian. Brian, next question is a normal question. How to deal with elbow pain?
Great question. Remember what I talked about with the frozen shoulder? The clavicle, the humerus, and the scapula. All of those make up the shoulder. The shoulder then, if it's in the wrong position and it's rounded forward, it could rotate this bone to a different position, which now means your elbow joint is out of position. So fix the shoulder, you fix the elbow. Fix the shoulder by looking at the hips so that the spine can branch like a tree and come up and control the branches above.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is, can you talk about cervical spondylosis? And this is also like a common question.
It is a common question, just like occipital neuralgia. When you have forward head position and you're chronically trying to look, because forward head position, if I just do this, I'll go to forward head position. But I'm looking down. So my body very smartly says, hey, dummy, look straight ahead. So I do this. I didn't do this. Now I'm focused on the horizon. Here I'm focused down here, but my head will do this. But what's that doing to the back of my neck right at the occiput? And the C1 and C2, you're like this. So when you have spondylolisthesis, spondylosis, spondylitis, anterolisthesis, retrolisthesis, I don't care what it is, stenosis, herniated disc, always look at the alignment of the spine first. And then you do the work, which will then make your chiropractor, physical therapist, doctor, acupuncturist, massage therapist, it'll make all their jobs easier when you do your part to get the bottom to create a better position upstairs.
Thank you so much, Brian. Brian, next question is, how to sit correctly?
Amazing question. Amazing. Okay. So you can see that?
Yes.
Which one is the right position?
First one.
This one?
Yes.
How about both? Because right now you are not sitting like this. Right now I am not sitting like that. Change the body that you put to sitting treat sitting as a sport, and then it doesn't matter how you sit. I sit like this. If I was on a call with you for 3 hours, I guarantee you my legs would be over here on my couch in my office, and I'd sit like this and we would talk like this. I'm not going to try to sit up straight. I'm not going to buy a $3,000 chair. I'm going to put a $3,000 butt or hips into whatever chair I'm sitting in. Fix the hips. And that's what we'll design for you when I get the opportunity to take a look at you with my team.
Thank you, Brian. And next question is, what's the best way to deal with chronic knee pain?
Just like the shoulder or the elbow is the same joint as the knee. They're both hinge joints like this. The knee does this and it does this. When you start adding rotation, you start having problems. So this young soccer player, major problems, and she's supposed to be one of the better soccer players around. You guys can tell me why she has knee problems. Are you kidding? She added rotation into the knee joint that's only supposed to bend. She started adding rotation into there, and that creates a problem. And you can see that one is worse than the other. She'll never play college soccer if she doesn't fix that, because she will become an injury waiting to happen. So your knees cannot be doing this. Click, 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 click. They need to be doing this, not this. Because even if I had you put your hands together like that and just had you do this, you're going to start complaining of pain on your wrists and your knuckles. Imagine your knees going through that for 20 or 30 years. Solve the problem.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, next question is, what Egoscue technique you recommend for hand pain?
Change the shoulder. The next time your hand is really bothering you, oh, it's really bothering me. Oh, it's this, it's this, it's this. Stand up and turn your feet in 45 degrees like this. So your heels are out, your toes are touching. You tighten up your thighs, which pushes your knees back, which tilts your pelvis to the butt out position, and then stay there for about a minute, and then check your hand position again. I would bet that it's a little bit better. It has nothing to do with the hand. The hand is the symptom. The shoulder is the symptom. The hip is the problem. Turn on the circuit breaker.
Thank you, Brian. Then next question is, they ask literally this question. What do you say to the people who says that why can't we go to surgery and fix the problem instead of doing exercises?
Great question. Surgery does not fix the problem. Surgery fixes the symptom. So if I have a herniated disc, you can go in there and clean up my disc, but you didn't fix the reason why the disc was the problem in the first place. So I implore you guys, please help your physician or your surgeon out. Do your job. You already do that when you brush your teeth. You're going, I want to brush my teeth because I don't want cavities. But you got to accept that line of thinking. I'm going to brush my body so I don't get cavities like a herniated disc, stenosis, occipital neuralgia, whatever the symptom is.
Thank you, Brian. That's awesome. Brian, next question is, how to breathe while exercising?
You ready for? I have a profound answer to this. Are you ready?
Yes.
Don't stop breathing. That's a joke. So when somebody says, how should I breathe while exercising? Look, I have a stationary bike over here called the Carol bike, which I ride periodically for a reason, because it only takes 8 minutes to get through the workout. My metabolic rate goes up. My glycogen depletion is down. I mean, it's unbelievable. I can get people information on that if they want to DM me and all that. I'll hook you up with the company. I never get on the bike without doing some Egoscue first, because I don't want to go from sitting here on Skype or on Zoom appointments all day long and then get on the bike like that. I want to get the body into a new position on the bike, and then I can actually output more power and get better gains. So when you do your Egoscue exercises first, it affects your breathing because your diaphragm sits right here. But if your posture is compromised, you'll never call into play your diaphragm, which means you're never going to breathe as efficient. And during COVID-19, it's kind of important. So I do a lot of nose breathing during the workout. I just go deep for 6 seconds and then for 6 seconds. But as my workout's starting to ramp up, I have to go. And then sometimes I have to open up my mouth and breathe in. I try to keep my workouts wherever. I'll push it really hard some days. I'll break it down, but I only do it for short amounts of time because I can never get my time back. So I do high intensity, then I do another high intensity. But my breathing is mostly through the nose and then out through the mouth, unless I need to mouth breathe. But slow the breathing down. If you breathe like this, you're more inclined to trigger that diaphragm to do east-west breathing rather than north-south breathing.
Thank you, Brian. Brian, should we exhale while exerting the force?
You mean like...
For example, if we take the X3 bar, like if you...
if you're working out on the X3 bar or bench pressing, yeah. So if you're going... breathing in, right? But here I'm going nose breathing in. It's that's going to give you that little extra power. So yes, you need to exhale on the exertion.
Thank you so much, Brian. Brian, what are the best habits kids can learn to become fit and active?
You need to do as much work and follow what your parents do. Pete Egoscue. Got it. $300 DPI. Got it. All right, I'm on. Let me finish up this Zoom from India. Pete Egoscue says hello.
Hi,
guys. Yep, and yeah, he this young man that I'm talking to, Pete, we did a Zoom 9 months ago.
9 months.
Yeah, ago. And he's literally going to be the reason why India gets functional. Pete said, "I like it, love it, keep working, brother." I'll call you back in a little bit. Okay.
Thank you, Brian.
So what's the question?
What habits should kids learn to become fit and active?
Yeah. Okay, so that's up to the parents. Become a better parent. Meaning you're already a good parent. Become a better parent by valuing exercise is good for my kid's brain, his heart, his self-esteem, her self-esteem, and this is my son. Okay.
Yes.
That's my son's soccer picture. He plays college soccer for a Division I school. He's 19. How did I know that was going to happen? How did I know he was going to be recruited? Because when he was younger, this is what he looked like when he played soccer on an elite team. Look at his body. His back is to you guys. Sorry, let me see if I can straighten that up. Look at his body build compared to theirs. With no weightlifting. Zero. But I took him to the park. He would climb, crawl, swing, slide, and we would stay there for hours. Because I can say this to the old people on here from India, like me, 50 years old and above, you guys remember when life wasn't so easy in India, where you had to walk, climb trees, your movement was better 40 years ago. Today's kids, they grow up with this in their hand. So my son, yeah, he had this, but here's what he looked like. I don't know if I showed this on the last one. This is him running an event. This is him sprinting a 200-meter run. He's coming from the back, and he wins by basically 40 meters. He's just disappearing. So give your kid an unfair advantage, get them outside as much as possible, but reward them. Because, some kids are like, I don't want to go out. Great. I'll give you one more hour on video games. I'll let you play Xbox for one more hour if you come with me outside and go for a hike in the woods and climb some trees for 1 hour. Reward them. And they respond accordingly.
Thank you so much, Brian. Brian, last question. Would you like to issue a 7-day challenge to our subscribers again?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I have to film that 7-day challenge. Let me think about that. What are you looking for?
Anything, Brian. Anything from physical or mental, spiritual, anything.
I think we should. I think we should offer them a 7-day challenge. And during that 7-day challenge, I will put some stuff down. I will coordinate what the 7 days are with you. You can put it out to them. And then at the end, what's the reward? If I'm them and I do this 7-day challenge, what do I get? That's what that's what your subscribers should say. What do I get out of this if I do the 7-day challenge? Here's the answer. You get a better version of you after 7 days. I cannot do this for you. I cannot do it for you. But I will tell you, when your subscribers say to me, Brian, I want to get into your subscription for a year to do these menus and get me better and take me to my highest level. Yeah, I'll put something together where there's a URL involved, and then they can click that, and we'll have something special within that URL that when they subscribe to the year, then we'll give them something extra too.
That would be awesome, Brian. Yeah.
I have to write this down because then you and I are going to have to come up with a URL that works easily for them to take them to the right place.
Sure, Brian. I will
But
message.
again, it's if you guys have questions, make sure you get on my Instagram. Like here's a post that I did on Instagram of even a little girl whose mother is a client of mine And she's even doing the static back exercise at such a young age because she values the exercise. Here's some stuff in regards to feet. Like, look at that bunion on one side versus the other. But if you can notice, look how much straighter one foot is compared to the other. One foot's turned out. The one with the bunion is chronically turned out like this. No wonder he has the bunion. So we've got to get to a point where we start going after the cause. We are worlds away as it relates to distance, but via digital, I feel like I'm this close to you. So I applaud you for helping out the people in your country or around the world that are listening to you. It is my pleasure to help them. It's all about service. We want to get people the answers to live pain-free, which is what our book says back here, pain-free. And it's not only possible, it's your entitlement. You are entitled to live pain-free, but you have to do a little bit of work to get it.
Yes, Brian. And thank you so much for being such a cool guy and explaining all these concepts in a fun way. And I'm really, really grateful to you because with your knowledge, I made some videos on my other channel, Telugu Superhumans, where people miraculously got healed from so many chronic pain issues. So I'm really grateful to you. I'm very grateful to you.
Listen, it's our job is to make the world a better place. And right now, during COVID, you guys all saw what was going on in the United States with all the political issues. We couldn't believe it. But at the same time, I have a choice. I'm driving down a road, and here comes the U.S. political system. I can either let it affect me, or I can say, I'm not going to let you affect me. I know you're real. Chronic pain. I know you're real, but I am not broken. Something, my body's trying to tell me something. It's the same analogy. Government, weather, like Texas. They're getting inches of snow right now and everybody's panicking. It's serious. People are dying. We better learn from this and just get better and better and better and better. So I'm going to tell your listeners this. Because of this event we did today, you are now informed. You now know what the problem is. It's up to you if you want to solve that problem. Or if you want to stay over here and keep looking at symptoms and be upset and angry and sad, that's up to you to stay over here. I'm welcoming you, and so is he. We're welcoming you over here where it's a heck of a lot more fun.
Exactly, Brian. Yeah. Thank you, Brian. And Brian, thank you so much once again for coming to the show and helping us to become healthy.
Namaste, my friend.
Namaste. Brian, if you don't mind, I have one personal question. Is that okay to ask?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I got severe shoulder pain. But I know that if I do Egoscue technique, it will go away. And I did it. And I did not bother it I did not care about it for 2 months. And the pain was still there. And I did Egoscue method for one time and 80% of the pain gone. And I did the second day and 99% of the pain gone. So just I have 1% pain left. So do you have any suggestions regarding that?
So let me tell you what I just heard. I'm in a lot of pain. I did my exercises and I felt 80% better. I did my exercises the second day. I felt 99% better. There's still a lingering 1%, which I'm a little bit scared of because I don't want that pain to come back again. Keep doing your exercises. Don't view the exercises as they should only be done when I hurt. Remember, last night I did it for 90 minutes and I don't hurt. It made me better today.
Exactly, Brian. I totally understand now. Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome.
All right, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you,
Your
Brian.
studio looks great. I'm glad you're getting bigger. I love this. And next time it'll even be better.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. You're awesome.
All right, buddy. Listen, you have a great day. I'll catch up to you later.
Thank you, Brian. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey guys, make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel bnsgokugreat. bnsgokugreat.